Hello, this is Dr. Rupinder Kaur. Welcome to Physio Lectures. In the last lecture, we discussed about the acromioclavicular joint and the ligaments of acromioclavicular joint. If you have not seen that video, then the link is given in the description, and you may also click the I button which comes on the top of the screen. But in today's video, I am going to teach you about the acromioclavicular motions. The motions occurring at the acromioclavicular joints are of two types. One is translatory motion and second is rotatory motions. First of all, I am going to teach you about the translatory motions. So there are three translatory motions. First is superior inferior. If this is a clavicle and this is acromion process, then the one motion occurring in the upward direction, that is superior, and another is taking in the downward direction, that is inferior. So superior and inferior. Second is medial and lateral. One is medial, second is lateral. Third motion is anterior direction and in posterior direction. So these are the three translatory motions occurring at the acromioclavicular joint: superior, inferior, medial, lateral, and then anterior, posterior. Second one is rotatory motion. Then there are total three movements: internal rotation and external rotation. Second, anterior tilting and posterior tilting. Third one is upward rotation and downward rotation. Now we will discuss about these movements in detail. So first of all, for every movement there is one reference point. As we discussed in the sternoclavicular joint, that in sternoclavicular joint motions, the lateral end of clavicle is taken as a reference point. If the lateral end of the clavicle move upwards, then it is known as elevation. If lateral end of clavicle move downward, then it is known as depressions. So in that joint, lateral end of clavicle is taken as a reference point. But in the acromioclavicular motions, the glenoid fossa is taken as a reference point. Glenoid fossa is taken as a reference point in the acromioclavicular motions. So when we discuss about the acromioclavicular joint motions, we will think about the movement of the glenoid fossa. Now, first of all, for every movement, three things are important: plane, axis, and range of motion. And first of all, we will discuss about internal rotation and external rotation. In internal rotation, the glenoid fossa moves internally, and in external rotation, the glenoid fossa moves externally. As in internal rotation, the glenoid fossa moves internally, and in external rotation, the glenoid fossa moves posteriorly. So this movement is little bit similar to the protraction and retraction. So this movement is occurring in the transverse plane and vertical axis. As movement occur in this way, so there is a plane which divide the body into upper half and lower half, that is the transverse plane, and this movement is occurring parallel to the transverse plane, and this movement is occurring. So this movement is occurring in the transverse plane and vertical axis. Range of motion of this movement is 20 to 30 degrees. Second motion is anterior tilting and posterior tilting. Suppose this is a scapula. Suppose this is a scapula, left side scapula, and this is the anterior portion, and this is a posterior part of scapula. So in anterior tilting, what happens, that the upward part of the scapula or glenoid fossa tilt anteriorly. This portion tilt anteriorly. So as it tilt anteriorly, the downward portions move posteriorly. So this movement is known as anterior tilting. And same in posterior tilting, opposite happens, that the glenoid fossa moves posteriorly and the downward part, inferior part of the scapula moves upward. So this is known as posterior tilting. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. This movement as occur in this way, so it is parallel to the sagittal plane. So these movements occur in the sagittal plane, and the axis which is perpendicular to the sagittal plane is coronal axis or x-axis. The range of motion of this movement is 20 degrees. Now the last motion is upward rotation and downward rotation. For example, here is a scapula. Of posterior part of the scapula is broad of right side. So if upward rotation, in upward rotation, the glenoid fossa move upward. The glenoid fossa move upward, as shown that this is a glenoid fossa and it moves upward. It moves upward. So as see, the lateral part of the scapula also move upward in this way. So if glenoid fossa move upward, the lateral part of scapula will move in this direction. So it is known as upward rotation. And opposite happens in the downward rotation. Glenoid fossa moves in downward, so the medial portion moves in this direction. So this is known as downward rotation of the acromioclavicular joint. So these are the basic motions which occur at the acromioclavicular joint. If you like my video, then please share it and subscribe my channel for more such videos. Thank you.